that Lord, come and quench these thirstings in my soul. Bread from heaven, fill me up till I want no more. Fill my cup, fill it up, and make me whole. So like the woman at the well, I was seeking for things that could not satisfy. But when I heard my Savior speaking, drawn from my well, I never shall rise. Fill my cup, Lord. I lift it up, Lord. Come and quench this thirst in my soul. Bread of heaven, fill me till I want no more. Fill my cup, fill it up, and make me whole. Fill my cup, Lord. I lift it up, Lord. Please come and quench this thirsting of my eyes. Oh, bread of heaven, fill me till I want no more. Fill my cup,
Okay, hi everybody. So exciting to be here this morning to share with you lessons I have been learning in my short experience as an entrepreneur, and it's going to be an exciting journey. This is going to be one of the very first videos that we'll be sharing, and I believe that you're going to learn a lot from it. So today I'll be talking about one of the most interesting topics that I think you probably would ever come across. That is team formation. So this is a very interesting topic that many startups would always consider when they are beginning. And what I'm going to do is I'll share with you some of the core lessons I've learned in some of the few businesses and startup I have co-founded and founded, and I hope it would help you in your journey as an entrepreneur. The entire purpose of this Monday meetings is to foster a network amongst entrepreneurs and help us learn from each other. So it's not just going to be about my opinions. In certain sessions, I have my other co-founders and friends and more experienced co-founders share their lessons. So today we'll be talking about one of the most interesting topics you probably might have ever come across. That is team formation. Team formation. So to begin with, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a very simple outline of what I'll go through. So you could just write down a few stuff. And the first of the things you want to consider in forming your team is the values of the people you are working with. So values is a very critical thing that anybody has, and you probably want to understand what your co-founders' values are, what's most important to them. Google would describe it as the regard that something is being held to deserve, the importance, the worth or usefulness of something, or principles or standards of behavior, one's judgment of what's important in life. So you want to understand what the values of your co-founders are. You must make sure these values are in sync. Now, our values are summarized as fridge, family, respect, integrity, and just doing it. So this is something that cuts across all of us. But for your business, for Agyeman, find values that are common to all your co-founders and stick to that. The next thing you want to look at is vision. So you want to understand what the vision of a person is, what's most important to that person, what is so necessary to that person, what is that the person always thinks about. I mean, you want to understand that key thing that is so important to that individual, so that you make sure you're on the same path. You want to understand that vision is what drives people. Vision is what makes people get up on a daily basis to say, okay, I want to pursue this, I want to do this. You want to understand what it is that drives that co-founder, and make sure that the people or the individual you are starting that business with has the same vision and it syncs together. It's in parallel with yours. Otherwise, you might find that at a point in time, you might probably be thinking the business should go in this direction, while he thinks or she thinks the business should go into that direction. So just make sure you have a common vision. The next is passion. So passion is like the sugar that sweetens your porridge or your tea. Passion is what drives you when there are tough times. Passion is what's going to consistently keep you moving. So you want to make sure that the passion that your co-founder holds is the same, if not the same, very similar. You want to make sure you are in it with passionate people. You are being driven by something that excites all of you, and it's so important, because if your passions are not in sync, you might find yourself putting different levels of effort into the same business, into the same idea. So just make sure that your passions are constantly in sync, are constantly being driven by the same thing, and you must make sure it is so. It's very, 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 very critical. Make sure your passions are in sync all the time, at every point in time when you are working together. So beyond having passion that is in sync, you also want to make sure that the person that you are starting the business with has a level of maturity, that is willing to learn, is always ready to be a better person, is always ready to improve, is always ready to make sure his or He doesn't think he has it all. He's always ready to be a better person. I can overemphasize this point. So you want to make sure that this is so because as individuals you are not complete, you are not perfect. There are things that you lack and you want to make sure that you have. So if you have a very teachable spirit, a willingness to mature, a willingness to improve on your character, what happens is that you always become better. So you want to look out for these traits in your co-founder or your partner you're starting the business with. Or else you might find yourself in a situation where you or your partner thinks they are good enough and there's nothing to change about each other. And this brings me to my next point about taking feedback. So from my little experience, starting a business is like building a house. And you might probably have the blueprints already in place, but as you build the house, you find that there are some things that are not exactly according to the plan, and feedback will be necessary to bring everybody back online. If you don't have the ability to take feedback, let me give an example. Okay, Nana, how you approach this client wasn't good. You should have done it this way. I think it would help next time if you do that way. But altogether, you're doing a very great job. We think you should continue. That is feedback. The ability to hear what your co-founder says and say, okay, wow, let me take this into consideration and improve the way I relate to this customer would help. But if you keep quickly go like, oh, I don't like what you're saying, and what do you say it for, and why you, it creates a lot of problems. And in a startup world, it's like a marriage. You should be able to take the feedback from your co-founders or give feedback for that matter and make the team better. So being matured and having a willingness to learn comes with the ability to also to take feedback and improve on oneself. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about, which I think most of you would have placed first but should not necessarily be first, will be skill set. Skill set is very critical, the ability to deliver. Okay, so in my first business, it was basically a retail business where I sold engineering mathematical sets to the entire student body of the engineering department at the University of Ghana. And the basic skill set needed was the ability to negotiate and fluently communicate and sell the product. Okay. Now, in this new startup I'm in that we are running, Asoriba, the skill sets are many. We need primarily 4 skill sets: the ability to code, the ability to run a business or understand the business world and put all the key factors together, the ability to sell, the ability to manage investor relationships. So, and finally, the 5th one, the ability to actually manage or take good care of the client you have. So selling skills, code or development skills, management skills, and basically customer relation skills, and the other things which are of a common good teamwork. So you want to make sure that the co-founder you're hiring or you're coming on board with has the basic skill sets. You can't start a tech company if you don't have people in your team who can write code. You can start an educational institution or school if you don't have people who can teach. You must make sure they have at least the skill sets needed. And I want to tell a story in here, starting a story about my co-founders. We all didn't have the best of skill sets. Yes, we've been trained, we knew how to code from meltwater, we had what it took to build software, but it was not up to the kind level we needed to move and start a very good business. So what we did, because of the good team dynamics and the same vision, the same values, we built our skill sets. We spent more time coding, more time selling, more time pitching. And as we spent more time on what we had to do, our skill sets in the software development area, business, sales, investor management improved. So skill sets can be built, but values are born with you. You're actually trained with. So if you don't have the good values, it doesn't matter what your skill set is. I just cannot work with you. I always place value, character, attitude before skill set, because skill sets can always be improved. As one spends more time on the solution and codes and build software, you would be better at it. So make sure at least you have the basic skill sets. The next point I want to talk about is emotions. So it's one of the things that you really talk about when you're starting a startup is that undefined, unmeasurable thing, that feeling you have inside. Emotions are very powerful things, basically controlled by chemical secretions in the mind. Emotions do drive you a lot. I'm separating this from passion because how you feel towards one another is very important. See, think about a setup as a marriage. If you don't, I know you're married though, but I have parents and siblings who are married. So if you don't feel happy or good with that person, it's just a formula for doom. There must be very good feeling, mutual respect, excitement, pleasure of working together. There must be joy of being together. There must be good friendship. That emotional part is very important, and you must keep that thing always holistic, because the moment you lose that good feeling about each other, every other thing begins to fall out of place. So you must make sure your emotions are kind of intact. You have good relationships with each other, so you can build a very good business, and it actually reflects in your product and how you relate with your clients and customers. So emotions. The next thing is ownership. So particularly in the tech startup where you write code, you build a client base, so and so, we want to talk about how are we going to own the company. Are we going to own it based on a certain percentage basis? What are your share distribution? You must understand your cap table. Make it simple. Okay, the company is 100%. You have 30%, I have 30%. This other co-founder has 30%, and you're leaving 10% for anybody who would invest in the business. Keep it very simple. And once you register your company, all these things will be made clear to you. But if you don't understand, just find an expert, or we can have a session on it where we'll talk about the share distribution. And also in terms of ownership, when you're starting a company that would require some time, like a year or two to build, you don't want to say, okay, you own all of this at once. You want the ownership to vest. So for example, you would say you own 30%, but you're going to have half of it after the first year and the other half after the second year. This is called vesting. What it does is that it ensures that the co-founder sticks and makes sure and builds the company to the place where it's significant before he leaves. Otherwise, if he leaves in the first year when he owns all the 30%, he's left with 30% and the company isn't built. So make sure that the shares or the ownership is vested, or it takes time to own all. Some people make it 3 years, 4 years, 2 years. It just depends on you and your co-founders and how you agree on it. Let's just make sure that your ownership vests over time. The next thing I'll talk about is decision making. So there are various methods of decision making in groups. Some groups will relegate it to one person to make a decision on behalf of a group after discussion. Others will also want to go by voting. Others want to go by a gut feeling. There are different methods, but what I'll say is that you have to come together as a team and agree on what works for you. There's no right or wrong way. I personally believe that at a startup, a company being built at different phases requires different ways of making decisions. At the very early stages, when it's just being formulated and it's being moved quickly, it's important that decisions can be made quickly and they can move quickly. And at that point, probably you might not have a lot of consensus building, you might have a lot of driving. And when it gets to a point where you have quite a number of team and the idea is becoming clear, the product is becoming well-fledged, then you want to build a consensus around it. This is my personal opinion. There's no right or wrong way to it, but at a certain stage you need some speed and agility. In a certain space you need to build consensus and move as a team. And that's where the saying that goes, like, if you want to move quickly, you move alone, but if you want to move far, you move as a team. So depending on the stage on which your business is, you want to manage it in a certain way, but you cannot have one way throughout. You cannot have taking decisions all by a way or throughout. No. Or at a certain stage you can always have consensus building. Decisions must be taken on the fly, and you probably might be in a meeting, you have to make a decision that you never had the chance to meet your entire co-founders and say, okay, this is the way you're going to go. What happens? You have to think on your feet, make a decision and move. So you have to just agree on how as a team you're going to be making decisions about things. And we can spend other sessions talking about that in depth and some of the lessons we've learned here in Asoyeba. Personality is the next thing I want to talk about. So primarily there are quite a number of personalities, and you will be aware of. You have those who are choleric, driven, who want to do everything, let's do this, no, do this, do that. But those who are also a bit sanguine, melancholic, and reserved, quiet, don't like to be pushed. Others who like to think carefully about what they before they take an act. There are different personalities out there. Everybody isn't like you, and you must understand that fundamental truth as an entrepreneur. And with accepting it, you must learn how to relate with everybody on a very personal basis. Because all your co-founders won't be the same. For example, I'm choleric. I like to drive, I like to move fast, I like to push sometimes. But I had to learn being in meltwater that I had different people and I had to relate to them on a very personal basis. So I couldn't just assume everybody was like me and keep driving. You have to understand how people process and think things and relate to them on a very personal basis. And at a point in time when we were in meltwater training, I actually didn't have a team because I was known to be too forceful. And I was like, hey guys, I'm here to learn. I understand my personality has weaknesses, but it also has strengths. And as an individual, I'm going to build and improve myself and learn to live with different people of different personalities. Gentle, know how to handle people like that. Driven, fast, choleric, know how to handle people. So you just have to balance the two. The last I'll end on is leisure. So the co-founders might want to relax in different ways. You have to understand how they like to enjoy and how they like to have fun, how they like to cool off. And with that understanding, you will then know how to actually relate to them on a very personal basis. It's very important to understand how they cool off, how they excite themselves when they are tired, and actually celebrate in that form. Because you might like to have a loud party, you might like to sit down quietly and reminisce on the exciting things. You just have to understand and come to a consensus. So the lessons are: understand each other, be friends, be passionate, and build the business together. I just want to go over the key topics we looked at in term formation: values, vision, passion, maturity and readiness to learn, ability to take feedback, skill sets, emotions, ownership of the business, the decision making, personality, and how each other takes leisure or cools off. So before I go today, I just want to thank you for spending time listening to me as I shared some of my lessons in my entrepreneurial journey. But I can't go without talking about Asoriba. So Asoriba primarily is a cloud-based church management solution that allows effective church management, data management, and seamless member engagement through a mobile app. You can find Asoriba by visiting www.asoriba.com, and you can easily create an account for your church. All you have to do is click on try now, and you would have a form where you have to sign up for your church. And in that form, you can actually create everything that your church, you can put in your church details, information, and all that is needed. So I'll just do a quick example here. So in here, you put your church name. Let's say the church is Destiny. You put the email in here, and then you select the country you are in. If you're in the UK, US, enter your phone number, and then your church size, maybe a 1,000 size church, and then you enter a username. Repeat your password twice. Here, and then you accept agreement and click on sign up. Once you do so, you would be able to create an account. You'll be sent with a code that you need to activate your account before it's available. And mind you, every church requires a different email to sign up. So in here, my email can be used because it's already been used, but I can just change it and then it's accepted. So very easy to sign up on Asoriba. And if you have a mobile app, an Android phone, you can just go to the Google Play Store and find Asoriba and download. And what it does is that it enables you as a member to stay connected to your church. So the Google Play Store, once you download and your church is already on Asoriba, you can then search for your church and join. So Asoriba is in the Play Store, just ASORIBA, and you would easily find the Asoriba mobile app, which you can then download and join your church from. So very simple. Search for Asoriba on Play Store and it would pop up shortly. There you go. Here's Asoriba. Click on it and install. Basically, it does quite interesting things you can read about in here. You can have groups, you can join groups on your mobile app, receive daily devotionals from your church, announcements, events, read scripture, and soon to come you can send prayer requests. What we are currently working on and we're almost done with is giving the ability to pay your tithe and offerings through the Asoriba mobile app. And that is super exciting because what it means is that you will be able to, from your phone, pay your tithe using your Visa card, ATM, mobile money, whatsoever. And that money will be transferred directly into your church's bank account. So thank you so much for spending time with me today. It's been exciting. I want to share a short prayer with you. Heavenly Father, I pray that even as we step into this week, let all that we do be blessed. We are weak, we are incapable, but through your Spirit we are strong and we are more than capable. We ask that you cleanse us from all our iniquities and sins and wash us with the blood of Jesus. Whatever we lack, Lord, may you give to us. Cleanse us from within. Let your Spirit fill us and give us the power to be successful. For anyone who is taking the decision to be an entrepreneur, grant that person grace and let him or her excel in whatever we do, whatever he or she does. Thank you in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you once again for spending time with me. Once again, this is Agyeman-Prempeh. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Asoriba. I'm so excited to be sharing my lessons on my entrepreneurial journey with you. Stay blessed and have a very blessed and powerful day. Bye.